right, so I am here with Amy Andrews. She's a young living oils demonstrator. She's going to chat with me a little bit today about how we can use oils in our homes and on our bodies and at times in our bodies, though I don't necessarily recommend internal oils without prior discussion with your healthcare provider. Um, but we're going to chat a little bit with her. I discovered oils when my sister became a representative for a competing company. It was in the heart of my grad school, and I was having major migraines. I'd had a normal CT. I was on 3 different medicines. I felt intoxicated all the time for the headache medicines. And she just begged me to try one of their oils that was specific for headaches and tension. And I thought, I don't have the money for this. And she said, I'll buy it for you. I said, okay, if you're buying it for me, I'll try it. And the first time I used it, my headache went away in like 5 minutes. And I thought that was a fluke and probably placebo. But then I used it again 2 days later, and then again 2 days later, and here I am 8 days later. It's still my go-to for a headache. So I do believe in the power of oils. My husband warded off a tooth infection when we were traveling using tea tree oil. My kids always joke that I better have the motion sick oil when we go to theme parks. So we've definitely found uses for what we call witch oils in our house, and we joke about it, but I think they're an amazing complement to regular traditional medicine. And if you can find something that works that's a little less toxic for your body, I'm all for it. So I'm going to let Amy have the floor and chat a little bit about what she uses oils for and how you might find them beneficial in your health and home as well.
And thanks for having me on here. I'm super excited. I've been using oils for 8 years or so. And it started with my kiddo. He was 3 at the time, and he had an awful case of molluscum. I didn't even know what that was at the time, but his entire torso was covered in like thousands of the little bumps. And we tried everything we could think of. Nothing was working. I took him to the doctor, and they wanted to shave his bumps off. And he was 3, and he literally had thousands. I was like,
That
this
must have
can't
been a
be
pretty
that.
severe case because usually we just leave
Yeah.
that alone and let it run its course.
Right. Yes. Indoor swimming pools are terrible, by the way. But yeah, it was a really bad case. Like even the doctor was like, oh gosh, this is all we can really think to do.
Oh, wow.
So I was chatting with my best friend at the time, and she'd been using oils for probably a year, and we called them hippie oils. And I had zero desire to ever like learn about them or use them. I was like, I don't want your hippie oils. They're not going to work. And then one day I just happened to get a package in the mail that had the hippie oils in them.
Oh,
and
same
we tried
thing.
it.
Your person
Yeah.
was like, no, you need to try them and I'm going to buy them for you if
Exactly.
that's what it's going to
Yeah.
take.
So we just rubbed this concoction. It was lemon, tea tree, and lavender on his bumpies, as we started calling them, because he had them for so long that they were part of the family. So we rubbed it on there, and like within probably like 7 days or something, they started to heal. And it was amazing. He has no scarring from it. And that kind of got me started. So I still wasn't like really into it. Like, no, I don't really want to use your hippie oils. But she started educating me on, like this was something that you could use a natural thing for that wasn't torturing your child. And that you can use oils for so many other things. So I actually decided to jump in, and I am one of those people that if I'm going to try something, I want to learn as much as I can about it. So I started studying like the scientific effects of them, like the background, like how do you get oils? How do they work in your body? And I was just like blown away. So we've been using oils for 8 years now. It's always kind of our first line of defense, or even our first line of offense. We try oils before we really try anything else, just because they are safe. They're from nature. So we just want to, and they don't have the side effects like some of the, over the counter things might have.
Definitely.
And it's really cool. Like, especially, I love to tell the story of wintergreen. So if you break down the chemical component of wintergreen essential oil, it matches the chemical breakdown of aspirin. So like how H2O is water, like those letters and numbers for wintergreen matches aspirin, but aspirin's made in a lab and wintergreen grows out in nature.
plant.
So it has the exact same effects. It's just you don't get the side effects from the lab created
Yep.
product. So.
And because everything I do is based in evidence, there's lots of evidence out there for oils. Lots of scientific studies have been done. Even mainstream medicine is starting to recognize the value of oils. In fact, there's one compound, and forgive me, I can't remember which one, but they found that it's as effective in fighting influenza as Tamiflu. And so I took that and ran with it and started recommending my patients with influenza, try the oils. I'll order you the Tamiflu, but you might want to try the oils for the next day until your 72-hour mark. And if that's not helping, then go to the Tamiflu that causes, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And essential oils, they match with all of the systems in our bodies. So there's something for like our digestive system, there's something for our immune system, there's something for our endocrine system. So every system in the body, there's an oil that can help support that system. So
Very cool.
it's really
Well,
neat.
I've looked at the catalog and there's a ton, and it can be a little overwhelming. So
Yes.
how do we know which oils we should be using?
It's always good. Like, I think that's why a lot of these companies have the starter kit, and it has like a selection of like the top, probably the most popular, but also the most effective oils in each group. And that way, you know that you're pairing an oil with the body system that you need. So if you need pain relief, we have a pain relief oil. But I like to stick with the more broad because everybody's system is kind of individual and different things work differently. That's why they're even like on the mainstream market, we have aspirin, we have ibuprofen, there's acetaminophen. So your bodies work differently with different things. So it's the same with oils. Like you might respond better to orange versus tangerine, which are similar, but your body just might respond to it better. But to make it really broad, if you're looking for something to help with your emotions, to increase your level of happiness, then you stick with citrus oils because they're really uplifting. They're like mood enhancers. So citrus oils are good for that. If you're looking for something to help you feel more grounded, maybe to help with anxiety or with stress, then you stick with the tree oils because those have big root systems. So you think they're rooted in the ground, so they help you stay rooted in the ground. If you need something for like your skin, you stick with the florals. Floral oils are really good for your skin and also for mood. So if you stick more in like those broad categories, then you can find an oil in there that works really well for you.
Very cool. I know you've taught classes, and you kind of had a little bit prepared, so I'm going to just let you take the floor and run with it. I'm excited to learn more because I've got oils upstairs that I've never touched from my kits, and I've got things that have been passed on to me. You know, my sister buys the big bottle and she's like, here, have this little bottle. So yeah, so I've got things that I've never used, and I'm excited to hear how they can be used, and I'm very excited to hear how we can use them, you know, in encompassing in the unlock process, in cleaning up our homes, cleaning up our cosmetics, cleaning up our foods, using things that are more, I say, close. The closer things are to the way they came out of the earth, the better it is for our bodies. So I think oils are the perfect next topic for us to explore.
Yeah, it's just like with your diet. If you eat the cleaner foods, which means that they are closer to the way they came from nature, then they're going to be better for your body. And it's the same thing with the things you use to clean your house, the things you use to wash your clothes, the things you use to clean your body. Like all of those, the closer you can get to nature, the better it will be for your system. And it goes to, you know, like the byproducts and the side effects and things like that. Yeah. So you just want things to be as close to nature as you can. And one thing that sets Young Living apart is we have a seed to seal guarantee, which means we guarantee that product from the moment we plant the seed in the ground to the moment we put the seal on the bottle. Every process involved in that is super regulated. It's controlled, and we can guarantee that the product you're getting is 100% pure, 100% effective. And we also are the only company that allows you to actually visit the farms. So you can go to the lavender farm in France. I went there a few years ago. It was an amazing experience, and you can actually see them like planting the lavender or hand weeding the lavender plants. You can watch them distill it and bottle it, and it's just an amazing experience.
Very cool. Yeah, it's very similar to like vitamins and supplements.
Right.
Like there's no FDA regulation, so you've got to do
Mm-hmm.
your research on the
Yeah.
companies that you choose. You can go certainly buy an oil kit at Menards. I've
Right.
definitely seen an oil kit at Menards,
Mm-hmm.
and you look and there's so much stuff in it. You want just the full pure extract of the plant or the seed or the flower. And so there's a few companies that do it. I'm not going to exclude other companies, but Amy knows Young Living, and I find that Young Living seems to have the best education out there. It's the easiest to find. They have some pretty great books and resources that are available. So I'm going to let her take the lead from here on out, and I'm just going to be an audience participant now.
Yeah, one thing I do have to say is that, like you said, you can go to Menards and find oils, and they will all pretty much say 100% pure on the bottle. And that's a silly FDA guideline that allows you to like kind of skirt the system a little bit, is that it just means that the oil that they use in that bottle is pure, but it doesn't account for everything else that's in that bottle. So it can be filled with water or alcohol or methane or anything. And it just means that the oil that's in the bottle is pure. So definitely make sure you look at the ingredients. If you're buying a bottle of frankincense, make sure that the only ingredient in the bottle is frankincense, because that's the way it should be. So just to go over more to the basics of essential oils, there's 3 ways to use them. The first is aromatic, and that just means you breathe the oil in. You can just take the top off the bottle and breathe it straight out of the bottle, and you'll get the same effects as you would if you used a diffuser or if you put it in a room spray or something like that. It's just the act of breathing in the oil. And the really cool thing about aromatic use is that our sense of smell is the only sense in our body that's directly linked to the limbic system of our brain. And that's the system that controls memory and emotions. So if you think back, like if you think of a certain cookie baking and it makes you think of your grandma and when you were little, it's because that scent memory is linked straight to our brain. I love to tell this story, but my best friend hates the smell of coffee because every time she got sick when she was little, her mom would hand her like a coffee can to get sick in. So it's that memory association. So the sense of smell is really strong with our memory, and it's really strong with our emotions. So if there's ever a time when you're just feeling like emotionally overwhelmed, you have to think of a scent memory that will help you calm down, whether that's like the scent of the beach or the scent of vanilla or just something that is calming to you. That scent association is super strong. There's a lot of different oils that help people feel calm, but lavender is a really popular one because it just helps like take the edge off the tension, and it's just like a really calming like scent memory. So it's really good for that. The second way that you use essential oils is topically, and that just means you put them on your body. And that can be as simple as if you burn your finger and you need to get rid of that pain, you can put lavender straight onto your finger, and that gets rid of the pain. We do recommend that you dilute oils, especially if you're really young, really old, or really new to oils. And that just means that you use a fatty-based carrier oil like coconut oil or grapeseed oil, and it just kind of dilutes the essential oil on your body. And that just makes it safer to use because it lowers the concentration of oils, and it also helps your body absorb it better. The really neat thing about using them topically is that all of that gets absorbed into your bloodstream faster, and then your body is able to send it exactly where it needs it. So we like to say that if you're feeling something like stress or anxiety, something on an emotional level, if you put the oils on your pulse points, so like behind your ears, on your inner wrist, on your temples, those are pulse points. So when you apply the oil, it'll go straight to your blood system and it'll send it out where it needs to go, likely straight to your brain, to those memory processing and emotion processing parts, and help you calm down.
Very cool.
You can also directly apply oils where you need it. So like if you have a tummy ache, you apply tummy oils on your tummy. If you have pain, like any kind of muscular pain, just put a pain relieving oil on that part that hurts. Also, the bottoms of your feet are probably the best place to use oils because you have like over 4,000 pores on the bottoms of your feet, and they're also the largest pores on your body. So that's where you're going to absorb the oil the fastest. And it's also the safest place to use oils on babies and little kids, just because those pores are so big. And then the last way is probably the most controversial way, and that's to use them internally. And that's just because, as with anything, like you wouldn't go out and just eat certain plants. Like some plants is perfectly fine to go out and eat, but there's other ones where you wouldn't. And so the controversy comes on like knowing whether an oil is safe to consume or not. So Young Living, I know, has, we have a Vitality line of oils. It's the same oil, but it's labeled differently just so that you know that it's safe to consume internally. Things like lemon, ginger, you know, things that you know that you can consume safely. And then we set them apart with a different label just so there aren't any like kind of questions on whether it's safe or not. And you can use that. That is really good for like supporting systems like your immune system and your digestive system from the inside out. So it's a really good way to use oils that way.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and oils, just like any other medication, if you take them internally, they can interact with other medications. But if you use them topically and aromatically, your risk of interaction is almost minimal. The one thing I do always like to make sure people are aware of is that some oils are not safe for animals, especially if you're using them diffused. Is there a list of ones that are not safe for animals that you know of, or do we just need to do our own research on that?
Yeah, there are lists available. You can, a lot of the things you find on Google are good for that. There's a lot of the scary mentality in there too, but cats are especially sensitive to oils because they don't have the same organs that break down oils the way that humans do. So the list for no-nos around cats are a lot bigger than dogs. Dogs process oils about the same way that humans do, but the most important thing to realize is they always have to have a way out. So never lock them in a room. Like if you sleep in a bedroom with your diffuser going, don't shut your door if your pet's in there with you. Always make sure they have a way to get out, because they're really smart and they can tell when they're starting to feel a little overloaded, and they'll just leave the room. Cats will leave the room too, but they're just a lot more sensitive because they don't digest the oils the same way.
That's good information. Because yeah, I mean, I think anything you look up, there's horror stories, and yeah, if you use an oil without diluting it, you can burn your skin. So you just need to make sure that you're using the oils correctly and get someone who knows how to educate you on how to use them. Don't just go buy a bottle of oregano and slather it all over your body, because you'll
Please
have a
don't.
burn. Please don't.
Please don't.
That was one of the first things my sister learned. I'm throwing her under the bus. She was like, "Oh my God, I'm on fire!" But yeah, that's where the carrier oils come in, and you can just use regular old household cooking, like kitchen oil, coconut oil, grapeseed oil. I think almond oil works too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You can use vegetable oil. It's just a little weird.
It's a little weird.
Yeah.
It smells a little funny, and we're not using that vegetable oil because it's inflammatory.
Exactly.
So,
Yes.
yes. So, what is your absolute favorite oil? What do you think is the
Oh,
most versatile?
that's like asking me what my favorite kid is.
What your favorite kid is?
It depends on what I'm using it for. Like my favorite uplifting, like make me feel good oil to diffuse is bergamot. It's not super common, but it's like a cross between a lime and an orange. So it's a citrus oil, but it's super uplifting. It's really good for like mood encouragement. It's actually the oil that they use in Earl Grey tea, which is just a little fun fact. But that one's my favorite for like uplifting. My favorite for sleep is Peace and Calming. It's a blend that contains orange and cedar wood and a few other things, but it just helps me because, you know, sometimes when you go to sleep and you have a million things running through your mind, it helps me turn all that off and just go to sleep.
Good.
So that's another like little side note is that for a lot of these things, you kind of have to determine the underlying issue before you can even use oils for it, especially with sleep, because are you having problems falling asleep? Are you having problems staying asleep? Are you having problems, you know, like with, is it your restless legs that are keeping you awake? So you have to kind of figure out a little bit before you just say, oh, lavender doesn't help me sleep, because that's not really what lavender is for. It's to help you relax.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right.
But so peace and calming is my favorite for sleep because it helps me turn off my mind, which is
Hmm.
great.
Which is
I
what a lot
love,
of women have that problem.
yeah,
We just
yeah,
need to solve the problems of the world at 2 a.m.
exactly. Yeah, why not? Christmas spirit is probably my favorite to diffuse all the time, even though it's orange, cinnamon, and spruce. It just smells good all the time to me. Maybe
Hmm.
just because I love Christmas, but
Right.
it's my favorite. Like, oh, what am I going to diffuse today? Oh, let's diffuse Christmas spirit. So yeah,
Gotcha.
it just smells nice. We love thieves around here. Of course, I've got two boys, a 13-year-old and an 11-year-old. So we use a lot of thieves, which is our immunity boosting blend. We love that oil. I actually have it diffusing today because
And
as the seasons change, yeah,
yep,
you need a little bit
absolutely.
of help.
Yep. And thieves is also like a household cleaner too, right? You can use it
Yes.
for
So
household cleaning.
right, Young Living found how impressive that blend is for helping like support the immune system and for like cleaning your body inside from the inside out. So they developed an entire line of products built around this one oil. So we have our Thieves household cleaner, which will clean any surface in your home, like guaranteed windows, floors, everything. We have a Thieves laundry detergent. We have a Thieves hand soap. We have Thieves cough drops.
Mhm.
So they're like an entire line of products built around this one oil just because it's so effective at keeping things clean and
Cool. And
safe.
is there anything else in those cleaning products? Any chemicals, or is it just pretty much the oil and distilled water?
They use things, to make it like soap up or something. I don't know like the ingredients all off the top of my head, but they do have like this, but it's all natural. Like there's nothing chemically made or laboratorily made or anything. It's all natural products. So
Cool.
all the ingredients you can, Google and they're all safe.
Absolutely, they're all safe
Yeah.
in there. So it's a good option as we start to clean our household products out, use up what we have, and switch to cleaner
Yeah.
options that are not as toxic. Is there
Mhm.
anything else you want to share with our group?
We do have, I haven't touched on like the whole stress and anxiety a whole lot, but we have a lot of things that are good for just helping you like maintain that balance. There's a stress blend that we have that just, again, it just helps you like take everything down a level and makes you feel a little bit more grounded. So it's really good just to sometimes if you just take a deep breath and then if you like combine that with like a calming oil that helps calm your mind down too, it's really good just for like refocusing all
That's
that.
actually one of my favorite uses of oils. You just put a little in your hands, rub it in, and just do your little
And cup it. Yeah.
2 minute mantra and breathe it in, and it really can
Yeah.
just kind of. And like I say a million times, if it's placebo, I don't care. As long as it works and it's not hurting me, but I don't think it's placebo because I can take my worst headache and I can use oils and it'll be gone in 30 minutes. I think it works just as well as, over the
Yeah.
counter medicines. We put our faith in chemicals that they put in a bottle. I think we need to start using more things that are here for us to use. Most medicines are based on the actions of plants and nature, and they're
Right.
just chemically added to for duration and for
Yeah.
shelf life.
Make them cheaper. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. But I'm
And
here to
I'm
say,
telling you,
like,
like, there are so many stories I hear of people that are like, man, I wish I would have tried this sooner. Just because we get so hesitant to do it because we think it's just, the MLM or,
mm-hmm.
um, and so people get a little, um, like scared, I think, to try. And then they do, and they're like, wow, that really worked. Like my husband is a classic example. Even though I was using them for a couple of years, he still wouldn't. And
Right.
then he started using them to help him, calm down before to help with test anxiety, or to, help with headaches and to help with sleep. And he's just like,
Right.
wow, these things really work. And to see how I use them on the kids, and it's
Mm-hmm.
been really good.
Yep, and I never want to say replace medicines or replace medical care. Oils are a complementary therapy. They are there to complement your other medical therapies. They don't interact with your medications. They shouldn't create additional health problems unless, of course, you have a skin reaction. So, anytime you're using topical, just like if you're doing a hair dye or a new makeup, just do a small little patch test to make sure you don't react before you slather it or bathe in it. but I think they're a really good option to have on hand when you need a little relief from something or you're feeling a little overwhelmed. Um, I would much rather do a little bit of oil for a few hours to see if it works before, suggesting a Xanax to somebody. I just think it's a much safer, calmer, more natural option, but they don't replace your medical care. I'm never going to tell you to, treat your medical condition with just oils alone, but they certainly can be beneficial. In fact, Mayo Clinic diffuses oils in their cancer treatment center and their wellness center. I found out when I was there with my father. So it's legit. It's good stuff, and I encourage everyone to try to find one or two that you can have that help you with focus, help you with pain. And I bought my starter kit a long time ago, and I still have oils left. So a little goes a very long way. I've had to refill the main ones like the lavender, the peppermint, the melaleuca that I use all the time, but they're definitely they're definitely valid in the sphere of holistic medicine and trying to use natural things. I really appreciate you being here with me and talking, and I'm sure we'll have more questions. I'm actually going to open a Young Living storefront so that my clients have access to the products and we can make recommendations based on your personal symptoms, and you can get those. And I'm sure Amy will be available to help answer questions about things and pop in the Facebook group and add suggestions and options from time to time. So I
Absolutely.
appreciate
I
that.
obviously love chatting oil. So yeah,
Yes,
any questions you have, let me know.
I am excited to get this all started and to introduce you guys to Amy and add just one more thing to your tool belt for how to move forward in life, focusing on yourself and prioritizing. And if that means that you really like the smell of Christmas spirit and you want to diffuse Christmas spirit every day because it starts your day happy, then by all means diffuse
And
Christmas
join
spirit
me
every
because I
day.
do it too.
Yes, diffuse Christmas spirit all day, every day. I'm probably gonna have to get some. I'm like, it is almost October 1st. Can I put up my Christmas tree yet? So yeah, I'm right there with you. I was like, I'm gonna do it in November anyway. Why don't I just do it
I
now?
know. Right.
Let's just do it. I don't have to put the Christmassy things on, but I want the tree and the lights because it's getting darker earlier. Well, anyway, thank you so much for hopping on with me
Thank
and
you.
making this recording. I'm sure that my clients and future clients will enjoy hearing what you had to say, and I'm sure they'll have questions for you.
Sounds great. Thank you so much for having me.
You are welcome.